Hello everyone, I'm Solar Saber, and today I will be reacting to disgusting furry cringe comp. I found this just by looking up furry cringe.
I mean, are furry TikToks really that bad? Let me see. Okay, maybe they're that bad.
If you were to scroll past the viral cringe compilations and drama of the furry fandom, you would find something that people usually completely miss. For thousands of people, this fandom isn't just for fun, it's vital for maintaining their identity. What I found is that the furry fandom is essentially one of the last true spaces where doing too much, or being extra as some may say, isn't seen negatively, unless it includes various acts that would get you shunned from the community. So, before I get too carried away explaining in detail during this introduction section of the video, let me tell you why the furry fandom is a safe space. First of all, even though it may not seem like it now, or even back then, the fandom was formed by people who may have been bullied for liking weird animal comics, or being extremely fascinated in general with anthropomorphic animals. Of course, since the fandom was built by these people, the acceptance of everybody was built in as a crucial factor of how people are now expected to behave with others who are part of the community, whether that be in person or online. And I'm not saying it's all of them, but if you were to look at some videos of fursuiters attending conventions that aren't furry related, you may see people in the background who turn their nose up at the sight of a fursuit. However, at a furry convention, creativity is actively promoted. But I must admit, it's not perfect. Sometimes there will be people in the fandom who didn't get the metaphorical memo. However, the vast majority of people are fine when you express your creativity in different ways, and it is very refreshing among our current social norms globally, to say the least. Anyway, I'm sure you know it has to be mentioned. The LGBTQ+ community is huge in the furry fandom, and it is not seen generally as negative in any way whatsoever, especially since a lot of the furry fandom identify as part of the community themselves. For people who are trans and part of the fandom especially, a persona can act as a trial of their future ideal identity. Trying out pronouns or names on a character, or multiple characters, could really help test the waters. Also, conventions often double as a free space to express your full identity. There are often events which promote inclusivity to further solidify the fact that everybody is welcome inside the fandom. So, the LGBTQ+ community isn't just integrated poorly and used as an excuse to show tolerance, it is quite a large and very important part of the creativity core, if you want to call it that. For people with neurodivergencies, the fandom also offers something that not many places, except specialized institutions, can offer: social training wheels. Although that is usually for people with particularly strong neurodivergencies. When it comes to fursuiting, eye contact can be optional, body language can be simplified, and people don't even have to talk if they don't want to, as people can feel as though they are expressing a character, not themselves, publicly. It is common knowledge in the furry fandom to be accommodating to requests by people, as thanks to awareness being spread in wider society, people don't have to be afraid anymore to express their concerns or talk about their issues, well, for the most part. But what I'm talking about doesn't only apply to fursuiting, or meets, or even conventions. Since the fandom isn't exclusively in person, having that online space to share your hobbies with others also gives a sense of protection for people who don't feel very comfortable immediately diving headfirst into everything, like friendships and so on. And finally, I have to say that safe spaces stay alive through reciprocity and helping others. For example, people who have similar interests will try to support and motivate each other, which for some people is the reason they are able to continue with their passions. Of course, the culture also applies when people can see injustice. If someone's art gets stolen, the person or business almost always gets called out for it and publicly posted about to gain people's attention of the situation. Even the constant drama has somewhat importance in the fandom. The event itself is often not great, however, it allows people in the fandom to band together and show or realize what is wrong, in an attempt to prevent it from happening in the future. So, calling the furry fandom a safe space doesn't necessarily mean there is no conflict. That would likely be impossible. Yet, being aware that the community has got your back, unless of course you are in the wrong, is what makes the fandom feel a lot safer. I personally believe that although all communities and fandoms have their bad parts, for the furry fandom, the good severely outweighs the bad, especially when you consider how philanthropic convention hosters are, or even most furries in general. Truthfully, and I say this with 100% confidence, almost all of the bad reputation or harmful stereotypes of the furry fandom branch from the few people who are extremely vocal or who attempt to hide in our community as they have committed horrendous acts. But what do you think? Does the furry fandom feel like a safe space to you? Feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can start a conversation with the community directly on my Discord server at dsc.gg/skykes. And with that, I hope you all have a fantastic day.